afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Takeover Sports Show. I'm your host, Miss D, along with the King of LA Sports, Richard Lopez. And today we're going to talk everything NFL, and we will also discuss the first few weeks of the NBA season. How was the weekend for you, King?
Well, first of all, it's nice to see you again on the show. Thank you for having me. Before, I'll let ladies first. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was great. It could have been a little better, but for the most part, it was good.
Okay.
You got a chance to watch a little sports, so.
That's always good. We love our sports.
Right.
My weekend was great. I actually attended an event called Sportscasters LA with Mark Willard and Ben Lyons from ESPN Radio. Got to see a lot of sportscasters that are in the business, and it was great. I mean, I learned a lot, and I made a lot of new friends, a lot of connections, and it was a very, very fun experience.
So the King is going places.
Oh, I'm already on my way places. And that just assured me when I went there. But yeah, so it's a good thing for up and coming sportscasters to kind of get a good feel for the business. Sportscasters LA, check it out. They'll probably be doing them a couple times a year. Mark Willard, Ben Lyons, thank you guys for the hospitality and everything I learned and taught. I had a bunch of guest speakers, J.A. Donde, Brian Hartung from ABC, Patrick O'Neill from Fox.
Yes, you had a lot of nice elbows.
And then one of my favorites of them all was Kurt Sandoval from ABC 7 Sports Anchor. The guy, class act, and in no way, shape, or form did any of the speakers think they were better than anyone else. And it was just a good situation for an up and coming sportscaster.
Right.
But it's all a good thing now. They all know who the King of LA Sports is now. My name is out there, and I'm the one and only King of LA Sports. The one and only. I own the name.
I don't think I know any other.
It is trademarked. So don't be using the name Maxon Marcellus. I own it. If you would like for me to be on your show to discuss it, I have no problem. But that's how my weekend basically was. It was a beautiful weekend, and I loved every minute of it. I loved it.
I'll say you're looking nice today.
Oh, thank you
nice
so much.
Nice little haircut and things.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Got to give a shout out to Unique Barbershop in Carson, California. Always making the King look fresh. Got this nice little taper right here. I still got all my hair, so I can rock it. That's how I do it.
All right, now let's get things rolling. Last Thursday night, the Minnesota Vikings got their first win this season on American soil, defeating the Washington Redskins 34-27. RG3 had a good game, throwing for 281 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Alfred Morris ran for 146 yards, but that was not enough against the AP and the Vikings.
Yeah, it wasn't enough. RG3, they came out, and they're supposed to be one of the biggest threats in the NFC East, and the Vikings were 1-7.
Right.
So it looked like it was going to be a cakewalk for RG3 and the Vikings, but it didn't turn out that way. AP ended up doing his thing. He had 2 touchdowns for 91 yards. RG3, he had a good game. Alfred Morris had a good game, but the Vikings were not going to be denied. They had to have this win.
Yeah, they were not taking no for an answer.
No, I still think they have a lot to work on, but they had to have this victory to save the coach. I mean, he might have gotten fired.
Yeah,
Adrian
we talked about that last time.
Yeah, and Leslie Frazier, I mean, he needed that win big time. So I have to give him props for that. The Vikings showed that they're not going to win their division, but they have some pride. And RG3, they're supposed to be one of the favorites in the NFC East, and they were making all this talk about how last year they were in the same position and they made the playoffs. Like, I'm sorry, but that division is just a little wishy-washy,
Right.
So, yeah, so
the Redskins. Right. Everyone keeps saying that the Redskins are going to sneak up on the Cowboys and Eagles in the NFC East. Do you think that this is realistic?
No, not realistic.
Why not?
Because they, like what I like to, a lot of fantasy owners, they know this. Mike Shanahan with his Shanahanigans, and if you don't know what that is, you got to look it up. That means he just never stays consistent with anything.
Right.
It's like Alfred Morris rushes so good. Like this game, he ran for 145 yards. Next game, he'll probably just get the ball 4 times. Like, it makes no sense. Like, he always changes things up, and he always goes away from the strength of his team. But yeah, I just don't think anybody is like going to walk away with the NFC East. The Cowboys are the Cowboys, and they're not going to walk away. But yeah, RG3, I don't think they're a favorite in the East no more. I don't think that at all.
Okay, so speaking of the Cowboys, what do you have to say about them?
How about them Cowboys? How about it? Oh, man. It's all right. Everyone tells me, you need to relax on the Cowboys, Rich. King, like, you need to take care of it. Like, relax, King. The Cowboys, you can't bash them.
There is a lot of Cowboy lovers. Even though I had to say it too, they suck.
Yeah, they suck.
But
America's team sucks. Or the so-called America's team.
Right, yeah. They're probably going to be real mad at us. Sorry.
How about them Cowboys? It's all right. Sorry, I was man enough to admit that the Raiders weren't going to do nothing until Al Davis passed away. Mm-hmm. And I'm man enough to say the Cowboys won't do anything until Jerry Jones not passes away, but at least gives up some of the power to that team.
You think Cowboys, he's a downfall?
Yeah, definitely. I know he is. He doesn't think any of the coaches are the problems. And in the words of Stephen A. Smith from First Take, the Dallas Cowboys are an accident waiting to happen. They're known to blow it. And the Saints have already said that since they won the Super Bowl back in, I think, 2008, they had said that they're America's new team. And a lot of people...
Do you think that's true?
No, I don't think that's true. If you're going to say anyone...
I like them, but I don't think that's true.
Yeah, if you're going to say anyone's America's team, it's definitely not the Cowboys. America's team has to win. I would say it's the Patriots. I mean, that's just me. I hate them. I don't like them at all. Or what people used to say...
Go for that.
No, remember this one? I hate them with a passion. I hate them with a passion. The Patriots,
that makes it better.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit better. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the Patriots, if you ask who America's team is, I believe it's the Patriots. Yeah, and there was it was a good week of football, and I loved every minute of it. There was a few upsets, but some of the things that happened as they should have. Mm-hmm. The Seattle Seahawks destroyed the Atlanta Falcons, 33-10. Yeah, the Seahawks went into beast mode. Marshawn Lynch did his thing. Golden Tate did his thing. Ended up getting 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards passing.
Right.
So, hey, that was pretty good by the Seahawks. But they just did what they were supposed to do. The Detroit Lions went into Chicago to complete the season sweep of the Chicago Bears, and they beat them 21-19. And the Bears played Jay Cutler until he got hurt with an ankle injury towards the end of the game. And they went in there and they made it. The Bears were about to win, and the Lions held them at the goal line. At the end of the game, they had 4 downs. The Bears couldn't score, and the Lions ended up taking the victory.
Yes.
What I thought was real funny is after the game, Brandon Marshall came out and said that the Lions are the Bears' little brother. And the Lions, they pretty much laughed at that because Reggie Bush spoke up and said, you know what? I'm an older brother. I had a little brother, and nowadays he's bigger than me. He could probably beat me up.
Right.
So that was his way of saying, like, hey, things change, Little brothers eventually grow up. So
can't be little brothers forever.
Yeah, and we're still on the NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles went into Green Bay and beat the Packers. Granted, it was the Aaron Rodgers-less Packers, but they did go into Green Bay nonetheless, and they took them out. Seneca Wallace played. He's the backup quarterback. Then he got hurt, so then they brought in the third-string quarterback, and he was getting hurt too. So the Packers, they made the bold move of re-signing Matt Flynn this morning. They re-signed him, and I mean, if you remember correctly, Matt Flynn was the one. Game 2 years ago, Week 17, they were sitting Aaron Rodgers, and they brought Matt Flynn in the game, threw for 4 touchdowns, over 500 yards, and that's what got him the big contract with the Seattle Seahawks. But it didn't work out because there was a guy named Russell Wilson in Seattle that just took over the job and never looked back. Mm-hmm. Then Flynn got sent to Oakland, and then he lost the job to Terrell Pryor. So that guy's caught a string of bad luck. He's always getting the short end of the stick. But this time I think he might be able to get some good reps in there because he knows that system. It's not going to take him a long time to get it, to get everything going. So
you think re-signing him was a good idea?
Yeah, I thought they should have done that the minute Aaron Rodgers got hurt. There was people saying, oh, they should sign Brett Favre and this and that. I thought that was BS. Brett Favre's old. Don't sign him. Come on, let's be real.
His time is almost up.
His time has been up. Come on, let's be real, Brett Favre. Come on, it's time for
he might still have another year or 2 left.
Yeah,
no?
But I don't think so.
Not with that team, though.
Not with that team. I mean, they're trying to move on from there. And they finally got it. It was hard enough for them to move on with Aaron Rodgers, all the grief they got from the fans. They didn't actually accept it till Rodgers won a Super Bowl.
Right.
So, yeah, they can't take steps back. And it would be a joke. Favre, he can no longer be an NFL quarterback. That is just,
wow.
you know.
I guess retire soon, huh?
Yeah, you got to, what are you going to do? And this is the next game I want to talk about. The Jacksonville Jaguars got their first win of the season. Congratulations, Jacksonville. You guys are tied for the worst team in the league now.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Well,
Jackson.
I mean, they won one, so.
Yeah, this is the first game they won, and they barely won 29-27. So, but that'll bring me to my next game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were the other team that hadn't won, and they actually got their first victory on Monday Night Football last night, or a couple of nights ago, and they took out the Miami Dolphins.
Yes,
who
they
are
did.
up in controversy with the Richie Incognito. Excuse his name. That's my name, and he gives Richie's a bad name.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of drama still with that. But yeah, congratulations, the Buccaneers.
He is still suspended though, right?
Oh yeah, he's suspended, and they're looking into talking. The NFL wants to meet with Jonathan Martin before the Dolphins owner meets with them, so they want to put it to find out what's going on.
You think he's gonna tell the truth, or is he still gonna sugarcoat it a little bit?
I think he'll tell the truth. I think he'll tell the truth.
He's probably like, enough is enough.
He's trying to pursue a lawsuit against these people.
Yeah.
So that's why he checked himself into the hospital, saying he had mental, he was hurting he had emotional distress. That all looks good for court documents.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
That has to be some type of emotional stress. You're getting bullied and picked on. It's just horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I feel bad for a 6'6", 320-pound lineman who makes $3 million a year.
I feel bad for him.
Hey,
maybe he's just one of those guys that he's not really into confrontation. He's just like, look, I'm here to play football. I'm not really here for all that extra stuff.
Well, I'll tell you this. If I'm ever in a position where I'm making about $3 million a year and you hear someone's bullying me, don't feel sorry for me because I'm going to have money. I'm going to have money. I don't care. I'll play on that team and let them bully me and tell them they're going to do this to me, that to me. It's one thing. That's just a lot of crap. You got to have thick skin sometimes.
Yes.
And a lot of these guys, he's big. He might be a little softy, but doesn't change the fact that he needs to stick up for himself. You got to say something to stick up for yourself.
Put your foot down. Be a man.
Yeah, you got to be a man, Hey, it's easier said than done, but hey, come on. At some point, you got to step up for yourself. But hey, he might be taking a lawsuit against these people, and supposedly he's going to be asking for $50 million in complaints and all that. And to be honest, that's more money than he would make playing football for 5 years.
Right. And he does have his law degree, right?
Oh, yeah. His parents are both lawyers.
Yes.
Both of the parents. And he's pursuing a law degree. So, yeah, I mean, he really is someone that we shouldn't
might
feel
go in his
sorry.
favor.
Yeah, because he's a smart guy. He would have lost it all if he would have actually hit the guy.
Right.
It's easy for a lot of people to say, oh, hit him. You should stick up for yourself. We're in a new
stay calm and get $50 million.
Yeah, we're in a new day and age. People don't fight no more. We're not in the 80s or 90s. You tell someone to defend themselves, they're going to their car and getting their gun.
Yes.
So you got to be careful about how you tell people to defend themselves. Yeah, because in the blink of an eye, they can start shooting up the place, and then they're going to end up hurting more people than they should hurt.
Exactly.
So it's just a big controversy over in Miami, and hey, I'm glad I'm not a Dolphin fan. Right. It could be the Raiders. It's not the Raiders. We've had our heyday of bad news and stupid moves by our franchise, but we're looking forward now.
Right.
But yeah, that's, we got a lot more to talk about. So
we'll be right back after this commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
Cam Newton, thank you for coming to visit the King.
No problem.
I promise to always report truthfully about the Panthers.
Don't forget 60 minutes of play a day, right?
60 minutes of play a day? What am I, a child?
Absolutely.
You're talking to royalty?
Yes, sir.
Are you calling out royalty?
Maybe.
You must not know me. You're using a very unsettling tone.
Okay.
That's why Darrelle Revis is going to have 6 interceptions against you this year.
Excuse me?
That's why the Panthers aren't going to win the division. That's why RG3 is better than you.
Whoa.
Why just find out Dominic bitch the Cupid sensation?
What?
Yeah.
I get to the bottom of this one. Hi, welcome to the Takeover. I'm your host, the King of LA Sports, Richard Lopez, aka the Sports Educator.
Welcome back to the Sports Takeover Show. We have a lot of more NFL news to cover.
Yes, we do. And coming back from the break, we're gonna start with our upset of the week. And if any of you out there told me you predicted this, I'm gonna call you a darn liar. The St. Louis Rams went into Indianapolis and beat the Colts, Andrew Luck and the Colts, 38-8. Nobody expected this. This was supposed to be a blowout the other way.
Right? I was like, wait, huh? Is that the correct score?
No, it's the correct score. Trust me.
Is this supposed to be reversed?
Yeah, I remember.
Did I just watch this game? What just happened?
Yeah, I was watching the game, and it was killing me. Andrew Luck's on my fantasy team, and I needed this victory, and I think I'm out of the playoff hunt.
Dang.
Okay. Right. Now I'm over it. Okay. Bigger fish to fry.
Right.
So, yeah, the Rams went in there, and with their backup quarterback, Kellen Clemens, and just totally took it to the Colts, and the Colts had no answer for anything that they were doing. The running back, Stacy, ran for over 130 yards, and they just took it to the Colts. And the Rams aren't even going to make the playoffs, I don't think. But they gave it to the Colts.
Don't think so?
No. They're in a tough division. They're in the same division.
Not even like last.
No, because they're in the same division as the Niners and the Seahawks.
Right.
And it's going to be hard for a third team from that division to sneak into a wild card, because either the Niners or the Seahawks are going to get a wild card spot.
Right.
But the Rams are a good team. They're just in a pretty tough division. Okay, now we're going to get to my team. And I'm kind of sad about this. It kind of hurts me. The Raiders lost a nail biter to the New York Giants, who are on a three-game win streak after starting the season losing their first 6 games. So they went into Oakland went into New York, and they were dominating the game.
Right.
And the Giants they hung in there, and sure enough, Eli Manning led them back, and they had some good special teams play, and they defeated.
They came back.
Yeah, they defeated my Oakland Raiders.
Better luck next time.
That's all right, but the Giants are a good football team, and I'm pretty happy with the way the Raiders have come. They're coming full circle. A few years ago, they were the laughing stock of football, and they're still a laughing stock.
I have to say it. I'm sorry. They were. I was one of the ones like, what? They're Raiders. They still have a team?
Yeah, they got a team. But they are a lot better since their new GM, McKenzie. They got a good future going there. So I'm pretty happy with that. But nevertheless, they lost to the Giants, and hey, the Giants, watch out for them. Don't look for them to try to sneak over the NFC East and pull ahead of the Giants, Cowboys, and the Eagles. And the Eagles. So look for the Giants to pull ahead. I'm sorry, the Redskins. The Redskins, Eagles, and Cowboys. The Giants are still in the mix. They have 6 losses. The Cowboys, I believe, now have 5. Okay. So look for them. They're still in the mix. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, there had been a lot of talk before this game. The Steelers ended up winning against Buffalo Bills 23-10. But there was a lot of talk before the game that their quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, was very unhappy and that he was asking for a potential trade in the offseason from Pittsburgh. So that obviously didn't affect their play, as they played good defense to beat the Buffalo Bills, who have a good running game and whatnot. But, yeah, the Bills lost to the Steelers, and hopefully I'll only see Ben Roethlisberger as a Steeler. I hope he's not crying and complaining. Come on. Yeah, he's got his rings. I think he has 2 Super Bowl rings. So now he's complaining because they're having a bad year. Come on, Ben. Stop being a crybaby. Big Ben, stop being a big crybaby.
So if he does decide to leave the Steelers, will that hurt the team?
Yes, it will definitely hurt the team. I mean, he's a true leader. But at the same time, being a leader, you don't just abandon your team. It'd be one thing if he was drafted there and didn't win anything.
Right. So maybe he's just looking at it I have my 2 rings here, so I can just, mosey on somewhere else.
That's the
maybe make something happen.
That's the epitome of selfish. That shows me he's not a leader. And a lot of people, I knew a guy that played ball with him, and he said Ben Roethlisberger is kind of a selfish kind of guy.
Yeah.
And
to want to leave like that has to be some type of self.
And I don't think the problem is, I think it's the offensive coordinator, but at least he's not putting him on blast, saying that it's his fault.
Yeah, he's not crying too bad about it.
A real true leader will accept the responsibility and be like, you know what, this is my fault.
Right.
This is my fault. It's my team. I'll make sure stuff's better. He seems to be throwing the blame on this for that person, everyone else but himself. And that's not...
Selfish people never want to take the blame.
Yeah, and that's not...
It's always everybody else except for themselves.
Yeah, you know, and I know that because I used to be a selfish person. And I used to blame everybody else for my problems.
I guess we're both speaking from experience.
You know, and it takes a true man or, you know, to admit, a true man or true woman to admit that they once were selfish.
Right.
And I'm far from selfish now because, you know, that's just me. You know? I might be cocky, arrogant, all of the above. But
not
I'm
selfish
not selfish,
anymore.
no.
Okay.
Not selfish whatsoever.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's what happened right there. And sticking with that division, the Cincinnati Bengals had a nail-biter with the defending champion Baltimore Ravens.
Yes.
And they ended up losing the game to the Ravens 20-17. Baltimore's defense showed up and showed out. They played like they were playing last year. So, yeah, look, the Bengals, Andy Dalton could not get anything going. I think he barely passed for over 100 yards. And, yeah, the Bengals had a real tough time going into Baltimore.
Nasty game.
Yeah, it was a nasty game. It was an ugly game, but that's the type of game the Ravens like to play, is an ugly football game because, hey.
Getting down and dirty.
All right. Well, I'm going to bring this up. I know my former co-host, my co-host, she's not on the show today, but she's really not going to like this. I don't know if she's in studio or not, but the Carolina Panthers went into San Francisco and took out the Super Bowl favorite 49ers in what was the score of like a baseball game. Two good defenses showing up against each other. The Panthers won the game 10-9. That's not a usual football score, but...
Yeah, like, what is that about? 10-9? That's like the lowest score I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, the Panthers are the real deal. And if you're watching the whole show, you've probably seen in my commercials, my Cam Newton commercial, and what I think happened, you know, but this is just me, this is what I think happened. Cam Newton seen my commercial and took it very personal that I didn't think he was that good. So in a way, Cam Newton owes me an apology. Or he needs to say thank you. He needs to tell me thank you because I believe I gave him the fire. I gave him that push and fire to really come out this year and just really give it to the other teams, you know? Okay. Wishful thinking. But I'm hoping that maybe he's seen it. So Cam...
Well, let's say you were the inspiration.
I think even though I was. Yeah. I know I was the inspiration. I'm an inspirational type of guy. Yeah. So Cam... You know, Cam Newton, he didn't do too much, but their defense won the game for him. And they completely shut down Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, and the Panthers are the real deal. They took out the big bad Niners, and you got to watch out for them. I mean, they didn't destroy them, but they at least let the NFL know that the Panthers are for real. Right. So no teams will underestimate them. And next week, the Panthers play the Patriots at home.
Which is going to be interesting.
And if the Patriots lose that, if the Panthers can beat the Patriots, they can be considered a Super Bowl favorite.
I don't think that's going to happen.
You don't think they'll beat the Patriots?
No.
Oh, you heard it here. Prediction.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I think it might happen.
You think so?
I think so.
Oh, I can't wait to see what happens.
You know,
I can't wait to see
It could happen.
It could.
Yeah, you never know. And so moving on. Last week we were reporting Gary Kubiak of the Texans had passed out on the field, and you know he had some heart issues. It was a complication that people get before they have strokes. So they did some stuff to precautionary testing and take measures to make sure he's okay. He should be back in the locker room sometime this week. But the Texans ended up losing to the Arizona Cardinals 27-24. Yeah. And, you know, Casey Keenum, he did pretty good, had a couple touches. But they don't have Gary Kubiak yet, and Wade Phillips is just kind of trying to hang on and playing a pretty basic game plan. But Kubiak will be back, and the Texans have no shot of winning or going to the playoffs this year. But good news is that they'll get. Hey, I'm just being real. They've only won 2 games.
Yeah, gotta keep it real.
They've only won 2 games.
Be honest.
So but I believe they found a new quarterback, and hopefully pray that their coach is healthy. And you know, like I said last time, heart issues are nothing to mess around with.
Yeah, so we'll keep him in our prayers.
Yeah, everyone, please do that. And the Denver Broncos went into San Diego, had a close game with the Chargers. I actually thought the Chargers might sneak one right here because Mike McCoy, the former Denver offensive coordinator, is now the head coach for the Chargers. And Peyton Manning ended up getting kind of hurt. He has like a sore ankle. So I thought maybe they would pull it off. But the Broncos showed that even without their head coach, John Fox, who will probably be out for the rest of the season, that's not confirmed yet. But it's looking like he might be after that heart surgery he had.
Right.
Like, you know, these hard things, these coaches, man, they put in a lot of time and a lot of effort into these teams. And if they can't, you know, they don't barely get any rest. So, yeah, that was That was the
with
story
him
with
being
that.
gone, and if he does not come back, will that do damage to the team? I mean, even they just won though.
I think
So
if he's more of a defensive guy, and Peyton Manning is kind of the one that runs the offense.
right.
So I think it might affect him as far as rallying and leadership, but they got enough veterans on that team to where it won't really matter.
Okay.
And before we almost run out of time, got a few NFL news and notes I want to get your opinion on.
Okay.
Dwayne Bowe of the Kansas City Chiefs, the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs,
Right.
was arrested for marijuana possession. He's their undefeated team. He's the best receiver on the undefeated team. He's arrested for marijuana possession. Here's my issue. Why didn't he wait till he got to Denver, Colorado?
Hey, some people cannot
It's
wait.
legal.
They have to have it, and they have to have it now.
Yeah.
He couldn't wait until he got back to Colorado.
Drugs are bad.
Say no.
Just say
Just
no.
say no to drugs. Dare to be different.
Yeah. Pass on the grass.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Puff, puff, puff.
And also a couple other news and notes. Ed Reed was released by the Texans after getting that big contract with them last year. And now the word's out there. He actually cleared waivers this morning. And so there's a few potential landing spots. He could go to New York and reunite with Rex Ryan on the Jets. And he also could go to New England. He was rumored saying that Bill Belichick, he would love to play for him.
Right.
And also the Indianapolis Colts are a potential landing spot because their head coach, Chuck Pagano, was Ed Reed's coach at when he was in Baltimore.
So where would you like to see him?
I would like to see him somewhere, either the Patriots or the Colts. He's not going to win a title if he goes to the Jets. Let's just be real. Geno Smith is a good player, but he is not taking them to the promised land.
Yeah, no. It's going to take more than him.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot
Sorry.
more than that to take him to the promised land. And, and then look out for Thursday night's game this week. The Colts are going to be taking on the Titans in a division battle. So I will be watching that as Andrew Luck is, again, like I said, he's my fantasy quarterback. So I'm hoping he does good. But other than that, I believe that is all we have for you today, Miss D.
That's it.
That's it. We
Oh.
only have a half-hour show.
Right.
I can talk for days, but they come
It
in,
went
they
by
tell
so
me, and
fast.
they only pay me for a half hour, so I'm gonna give them a half hour. But
All
that
right.
half hour I'm gonna give is gonna be full of fire.
Fire and desire. Well, as you can tell, that's all for us today. Be sure to tune in next time to the Sports Takeover Show. I'm Miss D, along with the King of LA Sports, Richard Lopez.
And Miss, whoever's on the switcher, can I please get my camera?
Get his camera, please.
Thank you very much. Hold on.
The glasses.
The glasses. I got my new
Yes.
glasses today. I like everyone to see them.
The newbies.
They cost enough, so let me at least get them some airtime.
Of course.
Okay, King of LA Sports. You can catch me under the King of LA Sports on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Twitter, Rich Lopez, KOLASE. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the Facebook page if you want to win all the cool prizes.
All right. And you can find me on YouTube at Dialasia. I'll spell that for you guys. It's DIALAYSIA. Well, that's it.
That is all we have for you today. And I would just like to leave you with both of my catchphrases. Don't be afraid to roll the dice. And when you live life rich, you'll never be poor.
See you next time. Bye.